Salve a todos, salve a todos. Tudo bem? Hypado pro cblol? Hoje nós começamos a treinar contra Pain. Resultados não é bem, mas, cara, todas as pessoas muito cansado, tá ligado? Primeiro treinar também. Eu vi muitos potenciais. So, first of all, thank you so much for coming in. O projeto de 5 anos agora para 2026. Why am I speaking Portuguese? I don't know as well. I want to start off the 5-year project by saying I came into KEYD with a lot of doubt. I had a love-hate relationship with the management. I fought a lot with management. I learned a lot from management. But what I will say, first and foremost, since I came to KEYD, is I didn't join a team. I joined what feels more like a family. Not a business, a family. And what KEYD is to me now is my legacy. And it will be my legacy. And so it is important that I perform in this year, the next year. And I intend to keep my promise. The deal was a 3-year contract, not a 5-year contract. 3-year contract with a 2-year extension clause. I said at the end of the 3 years, I would think about what I would do. At the moment, my heart is, I am KEYD. I want to stay at KEYD. KEYD is my family. I want to share in this 5-year plan a little bit about some things that happened at KEYD that were done in confidence that people don't know about, but I would like everyone to know. When I joined KEYD, my father went through a failure in business and he almost went into bankruptcy. Now, I'm not close with my father, but my grandmother, who is 92 years old, now 93, who raised me when I was young, and I desperately needed money that I didn't have to help him. And I'm talking a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. And KEYD helped me in this time with salary advances in 2024. And some of the owners, an owner I know, a good friend of mine, Pedro, who owns KEYD, helped me personally. These are people that went out of the way to help a guy that was really struggling, out of his own pocket. It's not money that he had, it's money that he made. Vex messaging me saying, are you okay with your life? Not just Vex, someone else, other people as well. And making sure that I have a home. So although they can't pay me $1 billion. They don't. And I'll be honest, financially they're not the most competitive on the market. But they went out of their way to do their best. They cared. And I will never forget that. After I fixed my family situation, my grandmother went to hospital. And I couldn't afford to look after her. And once again, not the team, but individuals helped me. And I will never forget that. Because they care about the people and the athlete. And this is probably something that they'll get angry at me for sharing. People should know. Because a lot of people talk bad about KEYD. I'm not saying KEYD was perfect. KEYD was not perfect. KEYD made many mistakes. But it wasn't just for me. It was for people around the organization too. And it wasn't just the team owners. It was the team players and the coaches helping each other. Vivo KEYD is a family. And that's what really this 5-year project is about. To create a bond so close. But this is a team that I gladly put my name on for the rest of my life. If there is a team that I decide to retire on, I think KEYD would be one of them. I'm not sure. Because I still have a deep desire to go to Worlds and win. And I think it's not possible in Brazil, I'll be honest. I think it's not possible. I think it's too hard. But right now, I am loyal to this team. And I think it's an incredibly part of the 5-year project. And that's a part of what drove us to work hard this year. So everyone in the team really cares about that. And what I can share about Trimby also is he wanted to stay with us. But I decided maybe it was better. He had a great opportunity at LEC. So we decided to mutually part ways. It was both ways, I'll say that for sure. So let's start again. A quick rundown. Second place in 2024. 74% win rate in regular season in Split 1 and Split 2 of 2024. Academy Playoffs champion. We lost to Kui. We got Lelico. Lelico, an amazing talent. I don't know why he doesn't have a fucking team. And we decided for Dismiss to be our franchise player. We continued with this for 2025 and 2026. Disames will continue to be our franchise player. He'll be the guy that we build around, and we expect the most from him. This doesn't mean that he's not accountable. This means he's more accountable. If Disames does not meet my expectations to be a world-class player in the coming years, if his talent is not what I think it is, he's gone to. If I don't do a good job, if Smiley doesn't do a good job, he's gone to. No one is 100% safe, even if we're a family. We're about performance and hard work. And the reason we take a bet on Disames is because he's an amazing guy inside the game, outside the game. And we think he can even be better. And we think that he's not just going to be the best jungler in Brazil, he's going to be one of the best junglers in the world. And for me, a hallmark kind of benchmark is Revolta. I think Revolta was the best jungler in Brazil history. And I want Disames to be better. So we keep Disames. Let's talk a little bit about 2025 first. We managed to win in the third split. Here's where we're gonna be real, okay? I'm gonna be real with you guys. We won both Academy and Worlds, and we talked about how great we were. But I'll be honest. The reason we won this year is because we were lucky. When I replaced Gigo, I thought I had Robbo, and we didn't have Robbo. So when we ended up getting Boal was off a 2-year break. He was not ready to play. Boal needed more time to warm up into the season. And if he wanted to play, then if we wanted him to perform, we needed a leader. So Boal needed someone like a Smiley, but we didn't have that because I already replaced Mortius. So the first mistake I made was I brought in Trimby, who was an amazing player, still is an amazing player. He'll do amazing in LEC too. But he wasn't quite the leader when he first came in. So he couldn't provide the guidance to Boal that we needed him to. So Boal was kind of left alone on the island, and obviously I was not good enough to lead him that way. So that was the first reason. In the 5-year plan, in the very first year, I really talked about how important it is to have a culture leader and to have a team leader. We didn't have a team leader or a culture leader. So it was very difficult within the team to have a direction. And so to be honest, I think getting 4th place was because they worked so fucking hard to achieve it. I want to give a shout out to Boal. I think he became the best top laner in Brazil last year for sure. Of course, this is a new year and a new challenge, and we don't really think about this year anymore, but Boal made an incredible evolution out of the game, inside the game. Hence, we decided to keep him, and we want to keep him for longer. We think he's an amazing player. And, but what we really missed inside the game was another decisive star power. I think Kisei made some mistakes too. We'll talk about that in a second. But where we were really lucky was we were able to sign Miru. I think it was really lucky for us and really lucky for Miru. Because Miru's other options were not that good too. So we found each other at the right time. But for me, that's luck. That's luck number 1. We got pretty lucky at signing Miru. Did we sign him faster than other teams? Yes. Do I think that bringing in Miru to KEYD is, to some credit, KEYD's credit? Yes. I spoke to Miru, 12 a.m. in the middle of the night, brought him to my house, and I remember Vex calling me, bro, do you want Miru? And I was like, yes. And Vex was available, Hugo was available 24/7, and we signed this guy. So I'm not discrediting the fact that we signed this guy. We did an amazing job. I'll be honest. I'll pat myself on the back. Good job, Chris. Okay. And of course, Miru did amazing to play for us, and he performed amazing too. But we are still lucky that Isurus Estral boomed. Agreed? We are lucky. The second reason we're really lucky is because I failed as a leader last year. A big reason I failed as a leader is I didn't stick to the processes that I believed in. And part of what I believe is not winning at all costs, but winning the right way. Because mental health matters, stress matters, and I did not manage that well for my team. I did not lead the team well, and people were on tilt and people were struggling last year. Who saved us? Bielzera, Smiley, and Benvi. Why? Benvi came in, improved a lot, helped us with draft. My draft was nowhere near where it should be. Smiley came in, helped us with Trimby and bot lane and draft as well. And leadership. Smiley is a leader. I'm a boss. when you're in my team, you work. You work. If you don't work, you are very stressed. And I do know I'm someone you don't want to let down. But I'm not someone that can inspire and pull people out of the trenches. So I was really lucky. Why? Smiley at the end of 2024 had an offer to join Fluxo. And he almost went to another cblol team, but Fluxo boomed. And then he had an offer to go to Turkey for more than double the money. And Smiley said, Chris, you took a bet on me last year, so I'm going to take a bet on you. I'm going to prove to you that I can either coach or play. And then I said to him, bro, I want you to coach with me next year. So the idea was for Smiley to coach in 2026, which is this year. And so Smiley played in tier 2 for us for under half the salary that he would get in Europe. So he had European offers. He did amazing, you know. And he decided to say, how lucky is that? And if I had not been able to create an environment where it was such family and that we did rely on each other, you know, and I didn't have Smiley this year. If I didn't have, this is a holy trinity for me. If I didn't have Trimby, we would have lost. If I didn't have Miru, we would have lost. If I didn't have Benvi or Smiley, we would have lost. If I didn't have, not a trinity, it's a square really. If I didn't have Bielzera, we would have lost. Bielzera helped a lot with the Brazilian guys, man. Because he's a leader as well, you know. He's the guy that's holding the mental for people like Dizamis when we are going through a 4th place finish, when we're going through an 3rd place finish, 8th place finish, sorry. I fucked up, guys. That's the truth. We achieved every KPI. And yes, of course, I do have some credit because, you know, I scammed them and I like hypnotized them to stay in the team, right? Like... like in the end they stayed for me. That's true, you know. That's true, okay? That's true. But if any of these guys did not stay, then I'm fucked, you know. If Smiley didn't agree to coach for me one split early, if Benvi wasn't as good at drafting, if Miru didn't come in and smurf it up, if Bielzira didn't hold the mental, we're fucked, bro. You know, that's the truth. So I think that out of my years coaching, 2022 when I won with Rogue and 2025 were the 2 worst years of my coaching career in terms of ability. Did I still navigate an incredibly difficult environment? Yes. Did I do a lot of good things? Yes. I give myself credit. But we need to know as KEYD internally, did we get lucky? Did the coaching staff get lucky? Was Smiley lucky that we got Miru? Would Smiley have been a champion without Miru? No. No. So everyone in the team was lucky. We hit the jackpot. Everything matched together and we won. And of course, luck is part of winning championships. Absolutely. But we understand that. We learned from it. And this year when we picked Kaiwing, we thought about it. We made sure we had a leader. We made sure that they would fit from a gameplay perspective. So what are our 3 fundamental principles? Orientation of the process, orientation of data, focused on the data, and player focused. I'll be honest, we didn't do this perfectly last year. Kaiwing is a leader inside the game. I didn't stick to processes because I gave a lot of space for Trimby to control the game pace. And it was good. But it was not the consistent game that I really wanted, to be fair. So, we didn't follow a process and a system that we did in 2024. I actually think from a macro perspective, a discipline perspective, 2024 was better. The lineup with Pro Delta, because Pro Delta is a great leader inside the game. Gigo too. So the combination of Gigo, Pro Delta, and Smiley, and them being so systems focused and consistent, made a much better process. And I think part of the process includes, for example, the review process and all of this, which we'll talk about, right? Data-wise, we did well, but in terms of being player-centric, I think I didn't manage the stress of the team very well, and we actually mental boomed a lot last year. So this is something that I really learned from. Our process was in-game systems, our review systems, the environment, and systems of performance. I think I really failed with the team environment. I think I really failed with the performance systems. I think I failed with the review and the systems in game 2. And I am blessed to have such a great team around me and to be able to keep this team together. However, we really brought it together and reviewed our process, and we're really confident this year that we have a better system, a better way to view the game, a better way to play the game. And we're going to revisit and bring back a lot of the great things that we did in 2024 while also learning from 2025. So 2026 for us is a culmination of bringing the hard, rigid systems, but also fluidity. Because if I had to describe 2024, we were like a machine. If we do A, we do A fucking well. If we do B, we do B fucking well. But we couldn't do more than that. And part of that was because of player talent too. 2025 was really relying on how good we were individually. And I don't want just that to be the way that we play the game. And we realized that the issues behind that at Worlds. We were falling behind to some of the better teams that had these systems. So we're gonna mix both. We want to create a rigid idea and philosophy about how we approach the game, how we think about the game, how we review, and how good our environment is. We're never going to prioritize winning over what is right and what is wrong. We're not going to prioritize. We're not going to let go of things like treating players poorly, for example, like arguing. We're never going to allow this to happen again because we had a lot of arguments in 2025, and we didn't resolve them in the best way. But we're also going to give players space to shine, to make our plays. And that was really the focus of the last couple months. So to be clear, I didn't have an off season. I worked the entirety of the off season. If you see my Kick channel, I streamed every day, like 10, 13 hours. Every other hour, because I work about 16, 17, 18 hours a day. Every other hour, I was either working on savicore or building the process. The new process involves, especially around the new game, having a really consistent way to play the game and view the game, but also giving space for players to perform. And I think that we brought in the best from the East and the West too, obviously. I learned a lot from Worlds, and we're going to put in a lot of those game systems. I can't talk about that because obviously we want to be better than Payne and the other guys, right? What did we learn? We lacked experience. We didn't want a roster without experience anymore. Trimby alone wasn't enough, and we really needed a culture leader, as I said. We didn't prepare that well coming into 2025 last year. For example, Kise had a lot of personal things that he had to work on. He couldn't play for 3 months. So he came in with zero practice. And in terms of experience, you really need some experience as a leader. You can't just develop experience overnight. It doesn't work like that. Understand? So we don't mean that Kise is the problem, guys. We're just using a photo. It just happened to be a coincidence, okay? What I believe is the reason Kise could not shine is because of the lack of leadership in the coaching staff. I'll be honest. Kise, if we had Gigo, Kise would have been a top 3 mid laner easily. Easily. Kise had to go in with an inexperienced Boal on a 2-year break and a new bot lane. His top and bot were new. You know? And so I think that I didn't create an environment where Kise could succeed. I still think Kise could be a top 3 player in Brazil. I still think. I just think Mira is much better. And we needed a change because we did so poorly. The only reason Kise was let go is because I did poor. No, that's the truth. Guys, did you even look at Kise's stats? No, you guys are so cringe. Don't disrespect him fully, you know? Like his stats, his data is elite. His data is elite, guys. He's a great player. But you stick a guy that doesn't have experience playing at a higher level. He played in Oceania, let's be real, okay? Pretty much a rookie. Promote him from academy. And then we assume that his years playing online in Australia is enough. I thought it was enough. It wasn't. That's the problem. I thought that Kise's experience playing in Oceania was enough. The problem is Oceania is a clown league. Oceania is the worst league in the world and they suck dick. So he needed more experience. He needed someone with a leadership capabilities around him. I think if we had a Robber or we had a Giga, it would have been fine. this is not Boal's fault too. Because Boal came in without practice. 2 years without practice on stage. Worse than cblol. So I do think that this is a big mistake on my part more than anything. I think we were just not aligned as a team too. Not having that preparation, lacking experience and practice, not coming in with practice, and not having a team leader inside the game was a big part of our failure. We learned from that. So we made sure when we signed a new support that we would sign a support that was very vocal inside the game, but could also have a good personality to talk to outside of the game. And Loopy was one of the people that we looked at. We actually really liked his profile. Ended up working out better for us. We were very lucky to have Kaiwing as well. You know, scammed him there. He's stuck in Brazil. So, you know, once again, the hypnosis working. I guess that's one of my biggest strengths. But yeah, he definitely didn't have enough time. He only had 6 months to play. So let's look at the plan again really quickly. In my opinion, what is the plan? We wanted to import Academy. We imported Academy. And we brought up Kise and we won with Kise. People forget that Kise was a champion. Kise was actually a champion. He was an incredibly good player. He won 2 times in Academy. He won in 2000. Both our Academy titles are with Kise. One with him playing mid and one with him playing AD. So obviously he knows how to play the game. I think we have a great replacement for Decimus if he ever decides to leave. I think Sarolu is one of the best potential junglers in Brazil, and we can really develop him into a great player. He's a 2-time champion now in Academy as well. There was actually interest in cblol teams, but no final offers. So we can definitely see him in cblol in the next years, I think. Okay. You know, I said that I needed an in-game leader in the video. We brought in Trimby. I think he's a fantastic in-game leader. Bit lacking outside of the game. I think he learned a lot as time passed, but at the very beginning it was very tough. You know, dealing with frustration, dealing with players that were just not as good. And you know, he really stepped it up by the end. But yeah, we did deliver on that. We said that we wanted an 80 carry. I wanted a guy that we could promote, Mortius. We did that. And we wanted to go someone that, you know, had a very high potential. Boal, for the team that I built, was actually a mistake. Because Boal needs another leader. So if we had someone like Greftar mid, or like someone that could kind of help him from mid lane, or like in jungle, it's a bit better. But Boal was a really big gamble and a choice that we didn't really have a choice on at the end, you know. But fortunately, we got Miru and everything worked out. And obviously Boal, okay, I'll tell you something about Boal too. So it's a bit of a flame, but kind of a compliment. Boal was, when I first met him, no, not when I first started working with him, because my impression in Korea was different. When I met him in real life, he was fine. But when we started working, Boal was more of a princess than I thought in real life. But by the end of the year, athlete. He's an athlete. I'll be honest. The evolution Boal has had from a communication perspective, from an in-game knowledge perspective, his map play was also not great. His knowledge perspective, his potential was so high that I could not believe that he was not successful before. But how much he evolved as a player from a game knowledge perspective, from a leadership perspective, from a communication perspective, from a people skills perspective, has been phenomenal. And I really think that Boal is a player that can play in the West. And if we win the 3 splits that I aim to win this year, and that's the plan, I think that we might lose him to a Western team. So I really need to start hypnosing him more. I need to plan like daily dinners, I think, something like this. But you know, I really like the guy. I think he evolved a lot. It was a bit of a nightmare at the start. Amazing. So, no, but right now he really is very amazing, charismatic, great at the game too. How did we sign Kaiwing? Basically, Loopy broke verbal agreement, and then I was like, bro, it's the same shit again, you know. Like this should happen with Robbo, and then I was like, okay, for das is fucked, you know. And then I was like, oh wait, is Kaiwing a free agent? So I messaged Chowie, the contact I got at Worlds. And I was like, by the way, are you guys keeping Kaiwing next year? Like, oh, we're thinking about replacing him. And I was like, can I please talk to him? And what are his references? And then we did the 12-hour call. And basically I said, you know, Kaiwing, you're joining the best team the world has ever seen. You know, we're going to make you so amazing. Blah, blah. Basically, we like mega scammed him. Told him his life was going to be perfect and amazing. And he's stuck with us now. So that's great. But jokes aside, what really sold KEYD for Kaiwing was, first of all, we offered a very competitive salary. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm joking, guys. We offered a very, very competitive salary. We pay him well. We also showed him our processes, our plans, our scientific systems. We showed him our support network. You know, we have a Leo, our physiotherapist, is the best in Brazil. Amazing guy. Amazing. We have an amazing psychologist. We have an amazing 4-story complex. And we told him all about all the things that we're preparing. And he was really sold on the project because jokes aside, what we do in KEYD is actually not common in Brazil or globally. Nobody in the history of esports has really done what we're doing now. You know, a true transparent 5-year process. You know? A true transparent 5-year process that involves data, science, processes, deep research, and we invest a huge amount of money. We invest by far the most amount of money on coaching staff too. And so I think we really sold him on strong team, strong processes, strong coaching staff, strong infrastructure, and really sold him on the idea that if he came and he was the right piece for us, that he would be the determining factor for us winning splits, and it ended up working for him. So thank you so much for coming, Kaiwing. I have a tremendous amount of faith in him and his work ethic and how amazing he's going to be. But yeah, with Kaiwing here and this roster, we do believe that we will be the champions of Brazil. You know, my aim personally is every split this year. But of course, the KPI says 2 of 3. But you know, personally with this investment, I do think that we should look to win all 3. So that should be our goal. And that's me being clear. We really want to build a dynasty. We are a bit late to start because all 5 of our players went to Worlds. So they needed rest and we started late. So teams like Pain have an advantage. They've been playing in-houses. They have a read of the meta. The next 2 weeks, we're going to have to work really hard and really fast. That's our plan. Of course, I expect you guys to hold me, not the players, accountable. This is me saying this. This is my personal goal. Of course, all the players want to win every split as well. But me personally, that's my KPI for year 3. And we really want to keep this team together. And now, from this point onwards, year 3, year 4, year 5, the goal is to keep our core, to keep players like Miru, Boyle, Desamas, Mortius, Kaiwing as well, and try win as many trophies as we can. And to really build a dynasty, to really make the KEYD name proud and where it should be. Because it is not where it should be. Okay? And Pain talk about the 21 cblol titles. Well, we have a top 8 worlds here and 7 PCS titles. We have 4 cblol titles here and 2 LLA titles. We're not a weak team either, you know. And we're coming off we're coming off great performances at Worlds. I showed you guys the scrim win rates. We did great. And for Academy, yes, we signed Buero. Yes, we signed Buero. Which is crazy. Because Because it is not a normal signing. He's old. He's 26 years old. And to explain you the process, we obviously loaned Shino. I can't tell you the details to Loud with a buyout clause. We wanted to have a. Let's start with Super Clever. We want to have a top laner that could potentially replace Ball, and we really believe in Super Clever's potential. I remember seeing in 2024 when we played against him. Shit, like I think this guy can be really good. I don't know why he's playing so shit in cblol. That's actually what I said. And with our process and systems, we really think we can develop Super Clever. We're gonna try him out this year and try to make him at cblol level. But basically, there was no one that we could really replace Shino with. There was only one person, and I'm sure you guys know him. So if you guys were wondering, Coach, why are you doing this King's Lenders? Well, I wanted to see how these guys work under stress. And there was a lot of transfer window. I can't talk about too many details, obviously, because I need to be professional. But there was a world where Quats and Sarolu went to cblol. Right? So if Sarolu left, I was looking at Sam KZ and Randall. I think two great players. There's one other player that I can't remember off the top of my head. He's also great. For top, we looked at Makes, Super Clever. We looked at Zinz. Zinz was my number one priority actually, but he's contract locked at red. And out of Makes and Super Clever, Sinatra was there too. Yes, Sinatra was a jungler, but it depended on like where we wanted the veterans, right? I went for Super Clever. I just think that he has great potential. I think that he played cblol before. I think he's not playing anywhere close to his ceiling. I think he's maybe 30% of the way there. Sarolu, we couldn't get him any cblol offers. Obviously, we would love to, for our players to get cblol experience, for them to come back to us or to get a better better deal, but better experience to continue to develop. Wait for Buera, guys. We'll get there. But basically, Sarolu and Quets did not get cblol offers, and it did not make sense to get rid of players that we think that can do much better, that just won off a title. Gatovsky, we'll talk about that later. So yeah, we really want to keep developing these two guys. If Quats went to another team, we probably would have considered Fu. We would probably go for Fu, yeah. Given that Jean Margot went to Loud. Let's do Scamba and Buera last, because where Buera comes in is where everything moves around. You know, Scamba also had a bunch of people like pondering. I personally think that all these players can play cblol. And, you know, they had some people interested in Scamba. Scamba just coming off the best split of his career, winning. He has a lot of experience. He's a veteran. He teaches well. Bro, I love this guy. This guy, personality-wise, he's one of the best people I've ever met. Outside of the game. Inside the game, he's a leader. So when you look at our team, I told you guys about a leader, right? I don't want my AD carry to talk. I don't like it. Even when Smiley was a leader in and out of the game, I told Smiley to shut the fuck up and let Pro Delta talk. I want my AD carry to shut up and hit. What I look for in AD carries is people with good hands. And I don't believe in ageism. I believe that with age, you develop some personalities and you develop habits, and you can be more stubborn. But I don't think it necessarily means that you cannot grow more. Gru was mega contract jailed. So to be clear, before Buero, we looked at Netuno. Not Glue, sorry. Dudu. We looked at Dudu and Netuno because I want younger names. But Dudu was mega jailed. And Netuno and we just did not reach a good agreement. So Buero was the third. I did not want... So basically, I had to make our academy coaches interview this guy. Because, you know, he had a very bad year at Rats, Buero. He did not perform well. Let's be real. Buero did not have a good competitive year, and he did not have good references. But I didn't want to shut the door on someone who loved the game and had the passion. The number one thing that I look at before data, before the references, before anything, is I need to feel like they need to want this more than they want to breathe. And Buero gave me that. So I didn't want to shut the door on him. And then when I looked in detail, when I looked at his gameplay, when I started looking at his mechanical ability, I believe that he hits a lot, guys. This guy hits a lot. You guys need to see him play. Don't judge him by his results. Look at how he plays. I think the way he plays the map is not so smart. I think the way he calls is not so smart. I think he needs to improve on the way that he deals with emotions, or the way that he talks outside of the game, or the way that he deals with stress in a high stress environment as a teammate. But that's what we have at KEYD. He hits a lot. We teach athletes to be athletes. We teach people to be athletes. We turn people into athletes. We think that from a mentality perspective, we can change him. We can make him even better. We think that he has the hunger and drive to be the best. We think that he has the hands to click well and do a lot of damage, which is everything that we want. And if I want an 80 carry like this, I need a scamber. You know, I need a scamber. If Scamber were to leave, I would go for a veteran 80 carry and maybe Gatovisky or Momochi. I think some of these guys were really good. They impressed me a lot. But a lot of good talent from King's Lenders that I saw. That's one of the reasons why I did it. And as I said, guys, I worked every day. So people were joking about, you know, me going to Curitiba for 3 days, 4 days. Guys, I worked the whole off season, you know. So yeah. To be clear, I think that Buero fucked up a lot. I think he fucked up a lot. Buero is a guy that's coming from a difficult background. Being a colored man in Brazil is not easy. Being an older person, a streamer before you play is not easy. But I personally think having a big media is a tremendous advantage. I think he fucked up a lot in his first competitive year, but he has no experience. Okay, he has no experience. So Buero is someone that we think has the potential. We decided to invest in him because we looked at his game. His interviews surprised us. Let me read off something for our interviews, okay? For example, because Tio Ben and Kakashi initially were like not sure about Buero. Same for Carlito, who worked with him. And Kakashi said this. And we did a really extensive interview, guys. Very extensive progress. First of all, Scamber said he'd like to play with him. After as well, by the way. But see, we looked at Skuro as well. Sorry about that. I forgot about Skuro. He said, honestly, I was kind of surprised. Think he seemed like a mature person and driven, and he really wants to make it happen. Kakashi's our academy coach. So yeah, really happy with the Buero signing. Actually, we think he has amazing media. We think he has amazing potential. He just needs to learn a little bit more about the game. And if I had to say who's better right now, Buero or Dudu, I actually prefer Buero. Do I think Dudu has amazing hands? Yeah, I do. I actually do. But I think Buero is actually more complete. And Gru, I just didn't like his profile. To be honest, I coached Gru. I mean, I think it's crazy, but it's true. I coach these guys. I mean, like Gru, he hits a lot. Have you guys seen Buero play? This guy hits a lot, and his data is good, guys. Yeah, I mean, we're happy. We're happy. But we do think that Dudu in terms of potential, obviously, yeah. Gru for me, and this is feedback for him too. I said this to him in King's Lenders. He needs to talk more, like in team fights. He needs to say what he wants. And he just doesn't have the personality that I'm looking for. Does this mean that Gru can't be an amazing player? No. Don't edit me wrong, guys. Gru can be a great player in cblol level. But Gru is not the profile that I was looking for. I need to feel like he wants it more than he wants to breathe. I need to feel like that he is changing as a human being. I need to feel like he's pushing himself to communicate, to do things. We looked at Kojima as well. But I preferred Bueto's profile the most. So yes, we looked at every game. And that's it. Okay? We'll let him play his chance, but he needs to learn. To be clear, if Bueto steps out of the line, I was not actually too impressed with Aikawa this year. But he needs to improve a lot on his consistency. If Bueto steps out of line, and brother, I hope you're watching this. If any one of these guys behave like a shit, not like an athlete, if any one of these guys do not work like their life depends on it, if I don't feel like your potential is enough to replace our main team, you'll find another team. I will promise this to you guys. If they do not align with our values, they will not stay with us. But I believe that they will. I believe that they will. So yeah, I know it's a controversial decision. We'll see. We had many people doubting our roster changes many times. I've been here many times. If the bet doesn't work out, we'll go for someone else. So, the staff. I don't know why it's so blurry. I'm here to stay. Biel's here to stay. Benvy's here to stay. Smiley's here to stay. We're going to play the same roles that we did at Worlds. Benvy third coach, Smiley assistant coach. Both of them assistants. Bielzera assistant coach as well, but analyst. They all have their roles. I want the best data in the world. I want the best drafts and ideas in the world, and supporting and the processes too. I want my second man. Kakashi and Tioban is here to stay. They brought us a title. So Tioban, if you guys don't know, is someone that I taught in 2022. I coached Tioban how to coach actually. Before when he was in Renska, when he was coaching Croc in Renska and he made a cblol final, I was actually Tioban's coach, and I coached Scary as well. People don't know this. I coached a lot of people. Tioban is someone that I really respect, that I've known for a long time. I think that he can be one of the best coaches because he wants it more than anything. And he's proven to me that beyond all else, he has the hunger and desire. Kakashi has been someone that has been a pleasant surprise. Solid knowledge about the game, great knowledge about the game. I think he'll continue to grow, potentially work with us in the main team or other teams in the future. That's VKS for 2026. I hope that answers your questions. I know the Bueta decision was controversial, but know that we interviewed a great deal of people. We interviewed a great deal of people, and I can list you some of the names. We have a academy chat. Just to give you a quick peek, we interview people like in detail. You know what I mean? We did Natuno. We did Bueta, obviously. We looked at Namiru for mid 2. Peko, Skuro, Megs, Fu, Diog. We looked at Lelico. I didn't need to interview Lelico or Diog. I already know about them. Kleber. Bro, any 80k you can think of. I worked and saw Gru myself. I worked in King's Landers. Right? I worked with Gru with Oreudos. I worked with ENDG. Right? And I looked at Tellus too. Tellus potentially joined us too. I looked at everyone. But no, there's a lot of supports too, but Scamper's staying, so it doesn't make sense for me to talk about this. Yeah, no, that was one of the reasons we didn't get Pekka. Behavior, unfortunately. But and I'm 100% transparent. KEYD's door, my door, is open to anyone. As long as I don't see behavior that crosses the line. But I need to see improvements in behavior. I wanted improvements in gameplay. And there can be, and this is not disrespectful to anyone. For example, someone like Aikawa, I think is an incredible talent. I would love to work with him one day, for example, but I want to see a little bit more. You know, I want to see a little bit more. And so for all the players that I didn't mention, they either didn't meet my criteria, and I'm not saying my criteria is right, guys. I'm not saying my criteria is right. I'm saying what I want in a team. But maybe it fits in the future, and I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see higher numbers in solo queue. I'd like to see consistency and try hard and sangajol, you know. I want to see blood in the eyes. For me, a guy that wants to make it in Tier 2 Academy should not have an off-season. In 2025, I played 496 solo queue games in December. I played 280 games in the last 2 weeks. I played 1,000 games in my off-season. Streaming every day, managing KEYD, doing interviews. If you are a Tier 2 player and you are not competing in things like King's Lenders because you're lazy, or I don't see high numbers in solo queue, or I don't see the hunger and drive, first of all, I'm not even going to interview you. Okay? Second of all is your references and how much you evolve as a player and a person. Okay? So for those of you guys in Tier 2 looking for an opportunity with us, we'd love to have you. We're investing a lot in Tier 2. We'll continue to invest in Tier 2. We believe in Tier 2. We believe in Academy. But show us more. Okay? So to be clear, you can doubt us and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Okay? I could be wrong about Buero. I could be wrong about Kaiwing. We could lose every split, but that's on me. And I take responsibility. It's always been on me. When we came last place, it was on me. It's my fuck up. And I did. And what I can promise to the KEYD fans and you guys, my family, is everything is my responsibility. But I did everything I could to learn and improve and fix those mistakes. And to come back better this year. And I could be wrong. And I was wrong in the past. But what I can promise you is even if things go wrong, I will do everything in my power to make it right. I do everything in my power to make it right. That I can promise you. I understand why you don't believe in Buero. I understand. But you will see a different Buero next year. I don't think I proved myself. I think I got lucky. I want to make that very clear. And I want to make it very clear. KEYD for me. I'm committed to keeping my word. KEYD for me is my legacy. KEYD for me is my family. KEYD is where I will stay. Unless I receive an offer from a top tier LCK team, which I don't think will happen. But if it happens, I'm ready. And I will give 100% of my life to make sure that this team is successful. And I promise you that. I won't promise perfection. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not. My dream is to aim for World's quarterfinals by the end of the year, 5-year plan. I will not leave to FlyQuest to G2. If Kaiwing Corp offered me a 500k euro contract tomorrow, I would not go. Because I'm a man of my word. But I'm not sure if we can do top 8 this year, but that's what we'll aim for, obviously. Every year. And guys, to be honest, okay, let me tell you something about Worlds. Worlds is a bit of luck. Like, if we go to Worlds this year, and our draw is Genji T1 Hanwha Life. Like, for example, you just fucked. Okay? You just fucked. I don't have confidence to beat these guys. I'm sorry. I just don't. Okay? It's hard. We'll try, but we just fucked. If we have a good draw, I think last year we had a really good draw, then I think top 8 is really possible. I think BLG was fucking winnable, bro. Bro, we can beat, I think we can beat most teams below top 5 in Korea. consistently with time. With time. With not right now. We'll get stomped right now. Bottom 3 teams for sure.